So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to Economics lecture number 7 of this lecture series called Prelims Powerplay 2026. Now through this lecture series, you will get to revise your entire syllabus for UPSC Prelims 2026. The entire syllabus, both static as well as current affairs. You don't have to worry about your current affairs portion. Just follow this lecture series. No need to follow PT 365, monthly current affairs compilation, nothing. Just follow this lecture series. And the beauty of this lecture series is that you just have to spend 1 hour of your day from now till your prelims examination. That is mandatory, okay? Follow it till your prelims examination and you don't have to worry about anything as far as your revision is concerned. Now, the lectures would come on YouTube regularly at 9 p.m. But you need to revise the lectures from the notes, memorize the lectures from the notes, okay? Plus your notes contain some extra information. Then we will enroll you in WhatsApp groups where you can ask your doubts. Plus, you will get access to complimentary test series adjusted to the timetable of this Prelims Powerplay lecture series. So there is a test series also, okay, specially designed for your prelims exam. Now, all these features would be available to you if you'll register for this course, okay? So you can register for Prelims Powerplay 2026 on our app or on our website. As soon as you do so, well, you will get access to all the notes, WhatsApp groups, as well as the test series, okay? Now, how to register? Well, the details are given in the comments section, okay? Details for how to register on our app, on our website. And if you are still struggling as far as registration is concerned, well, there is a number also. Just WhatsApp us on that number, okay? But be regular with this lecture series, okay? It will be really beneficial for you. All right, then. Let's begin today's topic. And today's topic of discussion is asset monetization, okay? Listen to me carefully. You see, government spends a lot of money on infrastructure projects because infrastructure projects or this infrastructure is the backbone of any economy. That is why government spends a lot of money, lakhs and lakhs, crores of money in building roads, bridges, power plants, all these things. These are all infrastructure projects, right? But there are many infrastructure assets in our country which are either underutilized or unutilized, not utilized at all. So government spent these lakhs and crores of rupees in building these infrastructure projects, yet most of these infrastructure projects are not working and they are not serving the people. They are underserved or unserved. Now, don't you think so much of government's money is locked in these infrastructure assets, not serving any purpose? Therefore, in 2021, it was felt that we need to monetize these assets, these government-built infrastructure assets. Now, how would you monetize these assets? You will give the management of these assets to private players. Okay, private players would give some money in return. So some money that was locked in these infrastructure assets would come back to you. Plus, these private players would run these infrastructure assets efficiently. So the whole idea of spending so much money on these infrastructure projects was that these infrastructure projects work and help people. Well, you give them to private people. These private players would run these infrastructure projects, okay? So one purpose is solved, that this is working, all of this is working for the betterment of people. And the other is, you have generated some revenue from this. Okay, you have monetized your assets. Clear? Because most of government's money is locked in these assets, which are not working at all. So why not monetize these assets? So for this, in 2021, government launched National Monetization Pipeline. Now, what is National Monetization Pipeline? To understand that, you need to understand the concept of asset monetization. So today we are going to talk about the concept of asset monetization, how it is different from privatization. Asset monetization is not privatization, okay? How is it different from privatization? What are the different models of monetizing assets? What are the benefits? All these things would be covered. And there is a high chance that UPSC might ask a question on this. So pay close attention, all right? And we shall begin with today's lecture. So let's begin. So economics lecture number 7, asset monetization. So like I told you, lakh crore rupees of government's money is locked in these assets, infrastructure assets, some unused bridge, unused airport, all these things, okay? These assets need to be monetized. Okay, now through monetization, what will happen? Number one purpose, government will generate revenue. So this locked capital will be unlocked and government can use this money for welfare of other people, right? So this would be there, and well, these assets would be used and used efficiently, because private players bring in a lot of private sector efficiency. Private players are known for being more efficient than the government, right? So this is the whole idea, right? Now let's take a look at the definition, the whole meaning of asset monetization, because well, UPSC has the tendency of attacking on your basics. So that's why definitions are important. So about asset monetization. So asset monetization in India is the process of unlocking the economic value of underutilized, remember this, underutilized or unutilized public assets to create new revenue sources for the government. Okay, so new revenue sources for the government are generated, plus these assets are reaching the public. They are being used. Now, what are the features? Basic. Transferring the rights such as leasing or licensing. So what do? You don't hand over these assets, or you don't sell these assets to the private players. No, ownership still lies with the government. Government just provides the private players with management control. They lease them for 10-20 years so that they can manage it. They lease or license these assets to private players. Okay, so transferring the rights of leasing or licensing of government owned core infrastructure assets to private entities for a limited period of time. Okay, after this asset is up and running, it is transferred back to the government. Okay, retaining ownership is important. This word retaining ownership makes it different from privatization. Remember, asset monetization is not privatization. It's just private management. You understand the difference now, right? So what are the objectives? We have discussed this. Generating revenue without outright selling. So government is not selling its assets, yet it is generating some revenue. Okay, so ownership lies with the government, yet government is generating revenue. Good thing. Introduce private sector efficiency, optimize risk sharing, risk between private and government, bridge the investment gap in public infrastructure. Because infrastructure is very important. And to build infrastructure, government requires a lot of money. All that money cannot come from government's budget, because government's budget is limited. That is why we are inviting private money, private finance through asset monetization. Okay. Now for this, we launched National Monetization Pipeline in 2021, aims to monetize assets worth 6 lakh crore over 4 years across multiple sectors. Okay, the details about National Monetization Pipeline are given in your notes, so do check that out. We'll discuss it also. Okay, now some key features of monetization, okay, which you have to remember. They can create MCQs like consider the following statements regarding asset monetization. Okay, so what are the key features? First of all, it focuses more on underutilized public assets into revenue generating sources. Okay, underutilized or unutilized. Number two, it focuses on brownfield assets. There are two types of infrastructure projects. Okay, remember this: greenfield and brownfield. Okay, monetization, asset monetization basically focuses on brownfield. Now, what is the difference between greenfield and brownfield? We'll talk about this in a short while. Okay, I'll explain the difference. But just remember that asset monetization majorly focuses on brownfield assets. Okay, then benefit is it reduces fiscal strain on government's budget, channels private investments into infrastructure, private money into infrastructure, improve asset management, because private sector is known to be better as far as efficiency is concerned than government through private sector efficiency. And remember this part, different from privatization. Why? Because ownership still lies with the government. All right, simple. Okay, now let's talk about greenfield and brownfield. Okay, so infrastructure assets or infrastructure projects are of two types: greenfield infrastructure projects, brownfield. And by the way, remember, greenfield has nothing to do with environment. Okay, so remember this, or agriculture. So yeah, types of assets. So what are greenfield assets? New development on untouched land, like building a new factory or a new road on a new alignment. So basically, greenfield assets are those infrastructure projects which you build from scratch. Okay, from the beginning. There is a barren land and you're building an airport on it. There is a barren land and you're building a railway station or railway line on it. There is a barren land and you're building a new building on it. Okay, you are building this infrastructure asset from scratch. This is greenfield. Okay, but what are brownfield? So there is no barren land. There is an airport, but that airport is, well, in bad shape. It requires some renovation. It requires some upgradation, okay, and many other things, retrofitting and all. But the basic facility is there, you just need to upgrade it. That is brownfield. Greenfield is you're building the airport from scratch. Brownfield is there exists some basic paraphernalia, you're just upgrading it, updating it, renovating it, retrofitting it. Yes? So you understand the basic difference between greenfield and brownfield. This is the thing. Remember this, okay? And asset monetization basically focuses on brownfield, not greenfield, okay? Now, how can you monetize assets? Okay, how do you monetize them? So there are different models of monetization. Okay, let's take a look at those monetization models. Okay, so models of asset monetization. Now there are two categories of asset monetization. Okay, we'll take a look at these two categories. Okay, so the first category is direct contractual models. How do you monetize an asset? So number one is toll, operate, transfer. Okay, now this is generally utilized for road projects, highway projects. Okay, what do? Well, private players bid for existing highways. There is a highway, so private players bid for that highway. Okay, what happens? They give the one who wins the bid gives some money to the government, the lease amount. Then as soon as that money goes to government, well, that private player is given a contract for, let's suppose, 15 years to manage this highway. This private player will manage this highway, operate this highway, and has the right to collect toll from it. And we all know that toll generates a lot of money. You know, all these toll, FASTag and all, right? So private players bid for existing highway stretches, operate and maintain them, and collect tolls for a concession period. That concession period can be 15 years, 20 years. And at the end of this concession period, they transfer the asset back to the government. This is toll, operate, transfer. Transfer means transfer back to the government. Very simple. Through this, private player is earning money by toll. Private player is managing this highway properly, and government also received some money for giving this management contract for 15 years. Yes? The other is operate, maintain, transfer. Very simple, similar to toll, operate, transfer. Okay? It is similar to OMT, is almost exactly similar to TOT. The only difference is that toll is generally collected on roads, highways. Okay? But operate, maintain, transfer can be used for other infrastructure projects also, like airports, railway stations, right? But it is very similar. Similar to TOT, private entity operates and maintains an asset for an agreed time and then transfers it back. And then they can charge a fees for this time period, 15 years, from customers. They can charge a fees and earn money out of it. Okay. Then operate, maintain, develop. The private party not only operates and maintains, but also upgrades. So there is an airport which is in bad shape. The private player will operate that airport, update it, renovate it, upgrade it also, and then transfer it back after 15-20 years. Okay. And last is long-term lease agreement, used for assets like telecom towers, bus terminals, and stadiums where the asset is leased to private players for operation. So let's suppose we are talking about a stadium. So private player will lease that stadium for 20 years, operate it, and everything will be done by the private player. So long term, and well, it's long term. So the lease can be even 50 years, 75 years. Okay. So these are some of the examples of direct contractual models. Now, these models are basically those models through which private player can manage these assets. But sometimes government doesn't want these private players to manage these assets. Government is only after their money. Government wants to raise money from private players. That's it. Okay. We don't want you to manage these assets. Just give us the money. Now, what are the models for that? Well, there are financing models. Number one is infrastructure investment trusts. So all the big private players, okay, let's suppose there are 5 big investors. Each of them contribute 5 crore rupees. So 5 crore by 5 total is 25 crore rupees. This 25 crore rupees will be used or utilized for investing in infrastructure projects. As soon as this infrastructure project will give returns on investments, will earn money, that money will be returned back to these private investors based on their investment. Okay, so everyone had spent 5 crores. So that means everyone had 20% share. So they will get 20% share in profits. You understand? I'm giving you a basic idea. This is infrastructure investment trust. These are regulated by SEBI, where investors can buy units to invest in operational infrastructure assets, operational brownfields. Then, especially for real estate infrastructure assets, there is Real Estate Investment Trust. REITs and InvITs are similar, exactly same. The only difference is InvITs can be used for all types of infrastructure assets. REITs are only for, well, let's suppose they're only for real estate projects. Okay. Then another example is securitization. Okay. What is securitization? You give a share in that infrastructure asset. So let's suppose there is a highway, Delhi-Mumbai highway. Okay. I provide the operators or the government 20 crore rupees. So government will give me 5% share in the toll revenue. Okay, this is securitization. Toll revenues or other earnings from assets are securitized through bonds, basically a proof, or loans, enabling long-term finance based on assets cash flow. You understand? So these are some of the financing models. These models directly involve private sector management. Simple. But both these are examples of, well, what? Asset monetization. I hope you understood. Okay. But in case there are any doubts, do ask those doubts in the WhatsApp groups. We have enrolled you in WhatsApp groups for a reason. Utilize it properly. Okay. All right. Now, what are the benefits of asset monetization? We have already discussed it. Okay. Bridging investment finance gaps. You need money for infra, but that money cannot entirely come from government because government has limited budget. So that money is now being generated through private finance. Okay, this is there. Then through this, most assets are monetized by way of giving operational control to private players. Private players are known for their efficiency. So through this, you are overcoming public sector, government inefficiency. Then unlocking the value of brownfield assets. Now you know what brownfield assets are. This is the thing. And now your assets are being run efficiently. So your infrastructure assets, your roads, your airports, your railway stations would be globally competitive, globally efficient. Okay, on a global scale, they'll be top notch. So these are some of the benefits. Okay, that's about it. Now, in your notes, I have given what is National Monetization Plan. Okay, National Monetization Plan was launched in 2021, and through this, well, government wanted to monetize 6 lakh crore worth of infrastructure assets. Okay, the period was till 2025 and government wanted to monetize 6 lakh crores of infrastructure assets through this. Now the details of national monetization pipeline are given in your notes. So do check that out. They can ask a question. Okay. And in your notes, we have also mentioned what are the challenges in asset monetization. National monetization pipeline was launched in 2021. Yet it hasn't been that successful because there were some roadblocks, some issues in India which didn't allow full-fledged monetization. Okay, yes, monetization has happened, but not to the extent we wanted. So there are some challenges in asset monetization. Okay, very simple to understand. That's why I'm not discussing those challenges in the lecture, but they are given in your notes and it is important. So do check out the challenges, and also in the end, there is a way forward. What should we do next so that there is 100% efficiency in asset monetization? How should we solve these challenges? Clear? That's about it. So today's lecture was short and crisp, but it is important. So do not forget to memorize. I won't use the word revise. Memorize this lecture from the notes. It is very important. Okay? And yes, if you have doubts, ask your doubts in the WhatsApp groups. And please do not forget to give the test. Test series is extremely important, especially if you're serious about prelims examination. Without tests, no matter how much knowledge you have, you won't clear this exam. So test series is extremely important. All right? And that would be all. With that, I conclude today's session. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. I'm sure it has. But if you're just watching this lecture and not memorizing from notes, asking your doubts and not giving the test, then this lecture series is of no value. It is of no value. So make sure you follow these 4 golden steps. Watch, memorize, doubts, tests. Do follow them. And let me assure you, you will definitely crack this exam if you're sincere with this lecture series. All right? On that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another topic in this lecture series called Prelims Powerplay 2026. Thank you, everyone.